All right, everybody, welcome to the Studying Brew, episode 1121 on this beautiful Monday evening. It is the Kona Catchphrase Monday. It is the night that we help you pass exams by looking at the Kona Catchphrase, which are the key words. Key words. Key words. Look, sometimes we're faced, especially if you're not studying with Kona, you're faced with a 489 page banana filled, not always all the facts, not everything you need to know for the exam book, because it's all just filled with fluff.
Got it. Got it.
Uh, you know,
Yeah.
we're going to have 5 pages on how the common stock was created. It's not on the exam. Why do I need to know? Why do I need to know? Someone today was like, I'm trying to memorize as much as I possibly can. And I said, listen here, sir. Attend the Studying Brew episode 1121 because we're going to talk about keywords and the keywords you need to memorize. You don't need to memorize 489 pages of nonsense. You don't need to go through a whole entire book and read it back to front, know it backwards, upside down, and all around, and read it 3 times and then rewrite it again and again. I mean, these are things we see on.
Can I say, so I go on a lot of like Reddit groups and stuff,
Yeah.
and somebody was like, guys, I'm in the Snaplin SIE, and I'm reading chapter 6, and I went to go take my tests, my quizzes, and nothing that they're quizzing on is in chapter 6. And people are like, no, you really got to read the chapter. And he's like, bro, I read the chapter 3 times, and still about 10% of what is in the quizzes was in that chapter. So where are they getting this information from?
Well, they're questioning it because they didn't say unit 3,
Well,
4,
they're
13, and 12, and 8.
I said this. I'm all
And 17, 18, 19, 20.
I'm all, you guys want a free Zoom? Come on tonight.
No. But seriously, it's a lot, right? It's overwhelming. It's like, okay, I've read it again. And then I go open up a quiz and you take a quiz and you're like, okay, that's not in there. Where did I miss that in there? All right, let me go read it again. And then, okay, I can't remember that. And then you're recalling, you're trying to recall, and then you realize none of these exam questions that you're going through the Q banks. By the way, Q banks aren't exactly like the exam anyway. No Q bank is perfect. There is no perfect Q bank out there. Brandy has gone through probably 10 different Q banks since we've been doing this in the last 10 years. Gone through them all of them. Read them all. If you guys want to know which are the ones that she suggests, stay on after the brew. She'll give you a couple of ones that she can recommend that are better. But nothing is like the exam. There's nothing out there like the exam, period. There's a reason why. These exams are not compromised. These exams are very closely guarded. They constantly are watching. They're constantly changing up. FINRA and NASA are very, very, very protective of these exams, and they don't want anybody cheating it. There's a lot of people out there. I know it's bananas because you've read these questions, you've gone through the books, and you're going through it, and you're like, man, if I just memorize, I can get it right. Look, they know there's people out there who have photographic memories. They know there's people that would just sit there and there's college dorms somewhere that someone's just going through every single Q bank because they have nothing better to do and they're high on Adderall. But look, they're not going to let it make it that easy. They're not going to make it that easy. Yes, he just said high on Adderall.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know what they do in colleges, but that's fine. Listen, it is what it is. But the only way around it, the only way to combat it is you got to know just keywords, and you learn to look for these phrases. You learn to look for these patterns. You learn to take advantage of the way exams are written, period. It doesn't matter what exam it is. It doesn't matter if it's a securities exam. It doesn't matter if it's a 10th grade chemistry exam. It doesn't matter if it's a tattoo health and fitness exam. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't even matter if it's an alcohol and beverage control exam certificate. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can all benefit from it. That's why we have MLO passers. Speaking of passers, I just want to say congratulations to some few people. But first, I want to say my name is Andy. I'm the guy that runs the back office over here at KonaButterflyz. This is Brandy. She's got her Series 6, 63, 26, Series 65, and her Series 7, which makes her more than qualified to teach you all the things you need to know so that way you too can get a pass notice. And look, guys, it wasn't an easy road to a pass notice or an easy way for Brandy to get this stuff. At the point that she decided to do this business, she was a stay-at-home mom who had been in business. What do they call that? administrative assistant. Did I do it right?
An executive administrative assistant. Thank you.
Has nothing to do with financial service. It had nothing to
It
do.
was student services at a college, guys.
All I'm telling you is if you needed to correlate a file, Brandy would
I got my
correlate
file.
that file faster than anybody you know.
Data entry.
In fact, she picked up a little part-time job at a karate dojo, and then no joke, the boss came out and he's like, "I thought I gave you work to do." She's like, "I handled that in like the first 5 minutes I was here."
They're like, but it takes most people all day. And I'm like,
Well, that's them. They don't know how to get it done and play Tetris for the next 8 hours.
I wasn't there long enough to redo their whole system.
She moved on. But my point is, it has nothing to do with any of this. It had nothing to do with it. And there was all these times that Brandy took that book because we had the copy of Snaplin when she started, and that book went sailing across the room, hit the old glass door a couple times. Pins went flying. We had to walk around with helmets during study time because we were afraid we were going to get hit by something. There was some choice words, curse words, some tears. Right, went through a box of tissues at one point. There's a lot of stuff that went on, and then there was 3 fail notices, and there's a lot of people that I know that are on that may be watching this in the repeat or the rerun or whatever you want to call it, or the replay, or on YouTube and Patreon and Discord and all the other places we have this posted, um and are like, yeah, I don't want to fail one time. I want to get everything done in one attempt. Everything has to be in one attempt. Everything. When Jesus made me, when God made me, and I walked out the womb, I didn't even crawl. I didn't even roll. I just walked. That's how I do things. One attempt. I literally just started walking. And when my mother gave me a book, I just read it. She showed me one time words on the book, and I said, I can read. Just like that, 1 years old. Because that's how I do everything. I just go ahead, one attempt person. That's all I am. And that's the way you guys have your expectations. One attempt. I can't fail anything. One attempt. If I get a bad score on my quiz, oh, it's not for me. It's unheard of. I can't be humbled in any way. Look, y'all, you're going to get humbled in life. Some of y'all are going to do good at this stuff and you're going to go sail through it. And some of us just can't stand to look at people who can just do that. You know what I mean? And it's not just saltiness. It's just like we just realize we're going to have a challenge. And you have to realize that the difference between people who get this done, like Brandy, who fell down 3 times, failed the exam 26, and got back up, created KonaButterflyz, basically this whole thing that we're going to teach you tonight with the keywords, the techniques, and how we get these things done, ended up passing the Series 65 on the first attempt, even though there was like several people that were men who told her, little lady, you're not going to be able to get that done because I haven't got it done. She went ahead and passed it in the first attempt, and then went ahead and passed the Series 26 22 weeks later, and then passed the Series 7 a year later when it was 6 hours long and a lunch break. She passed it on the first attempt because she had a system. She developed a system out of failure. And some of y'all look at failure as a bad thing. Failure is a great thing. Failure is the way to success. There's a stepping stone to it. The difference is that most of you quit before you even get there. I saw something from Michael Jordan. He says that, you know what the difference is that most of you don't even see the benefits of going through the pain. Y'all go through the pain, but you never even stick with it long enough to get the benefits of all that pain, meaning you quit. Man, this is tough. Man, the workouts are hard. Man, the studying's tough. Man, I have to stay up all the time. Man, this sucks because I can't go to this my second cousin's baby cousin's third removed on the fourth anniversary of my nephew's sister's aunt's birthday this weekend. Yes, some people are like that. I can't move my neighbor who I never talked to in the last 7 years this weekend. Man, I won't be able to watch that movie that I will know that once I go in there and I sit down for 2 seconds in the theater, I'm out like a light bulb. I won't miss that experience.
Or I don't have any time, but I can go watch a 2-hour movie.
Oh my, no, I'll even go deeper. Andy and Brandy, I need to get the securities license. I have to get the securities license. This is the securities license that is the difference between me winning in life and me losing in life. I have to do it. All right, let's start tomorrow. Well, see, there's a company trip this weekend in Cancun, and I can't miss out on that. And I gotta like, I gotta. Hey, I gotta. Have you seen the water slides? I gotta go on the water slides. Okay, well, when you get back. Well, I promised my second cousin's first wife's second removed cousin that I need to take him to Disneyland for a weekend. Okay, well, when do you have time? I'm really having a hard time getting this thing done. But you have a trip. Do you have time for Cancun and a trip to Disney? What? Yeah, but I just can't fit it in anywhere. I don't know how you all do it. You have to sacrifice.
And I'm going to circle back to your must pass the first time thing. Guys, I have been licensed for 10 years now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
right.
It's crazy.
Hey,
Um,
I know what you're gonna say.
I've closed not only my own business, but people in my office's business.
Do you know what I know?
Hmm.
This is what happened. This is what you're getting to.
Hmm.
Wow, Brandy, that is a great presentation.
Yeah.
I see that you have me set up to make millions of dollars. All
Retire
of
comfortably.
retire comfortably.
Yeah.
All my
Yeah.
financial goals are set.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I have to ask this. This is going to be the difference between us doing business and not.
Yeah.
Did you pass your Series 26 on the first attempt?
Yeah. Or did you pass any? Like, do you even like what's FINRA? And like, guys, nobody ever asked me what tests I have. Nobody has ever asked me how many times it took me to pass. That was when they used to actually give you the passing score. Nobody ever asked me my passing score. Nothing. I don't even know if most people know you have to get licensed, to be quite honest. Hence cash value, life policies.
We had a student who literally, I don't want to say threw a fit.
No, he did.
Brandy's just going to say he did.
Sorry.
Uh,
If you're watching this ever, it's been like 7 years since I've seen you, but
it was quite traumatic as an adult to see a grown person throw a fit.
yeah.
The fit was over, and I kid you not. This is an emergency. You both need to come out to San Diego. We don't live in San Diego. We're 2 hours away.
Yeah.
You need to drive 2 hours. I will pay for a very fancy meal
Yes.
and a very tall tower.
It is beautiful. Thank you. I do appreciate that.
It's going to be a $300 lunch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're going to discuss this emergency.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get there. First, he's like, he goes, do you want to talk first? And I said, no, because I already know where this is going to be. I want to eat my meal. I want to enjoy it in case I have to run. No. So he goes, so we ate, we sat down, we finished. And then he goes, okay, this is the thing that made me so angry that I called you out here, and we need to figure this out, and we need to fix this, Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
This is how intense he's talking,
Yeah.
if not louder. And he goes, I need you to spend time and research, and I need you to make the appropriate calls to whoever you need to make. This is how he talked. This is very serious. I need to find out if I scored at least a 92% on that exam.
No. Remember, he said, I require to score at least. No. Guys, I require to score at least 94. It was some random number too, like 94%. Where are you pulling it? No, you don't. You don't understand. It is vital that I pass with at least a 94%.
I was a weak husband. At that moment, I excused myself and I went to the bathroom and I laughed my butt off.
I said,
and then I came back.
I said, 19-year-old kid. They don't tell you your score.
Brandy's all, where did you go? I said, I avoided telling him the truth. No one cares.
I said, they don't tell you your score. And he's all, what do you mean? I said, it just says pass. And he's like, well, can you find out? I said, no, there's no finding out. FINRA doesn't tell you. It just says pass. It literally just says pass. So if you get a 70%, you pass. No, I need a 94. I said, well.
So I ended this conversation with this. I said, listen, you go to any appointment and any of your clients refuse to do business with you because they see that you didn't pass with a 94% or want proof, I will pay you $10,000. They have to say it just like that. I need to see proof that you scored over a 94% before I do business. I will pay you that $10,000.
Um,
Never had the call. Never got the call.
guys, he never took the test.
He never finished.
Never finished.
He couldn't handle the fact that he couldn't see what he was, a 94% or not.
And that is a fail. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Anyways.
I went and said all that to get to this point.
Oh yeah.
We need to stop being so hard on ourselves.
Stop.
We need to stop thinking that we need to nail everything on the first go and there's no such thing as a learning curve. That's bananas. We need to remember that before we ran and walked, that we crawled and we just rolled over. And that was a great win.
Dude, our parents were so excited when we rolled over, remember?
And if you are a parent, you know what I'm talking about. The first time your kid rolls over and farts, it's like the greatest day ever. It's like, oh my gosh, it farted and it rolled over.
Wrote it in a book.
Wrote it in a book. Wrote the day on a book in a journal.
Yeah.
And took a picture.
Yeah.
We need to have that same level of excitement over all our small victories. From day one, we've been having those victories. Still to this date, you need to have victories like that. You need to stop being so serious about it. And that doesn't mean that we don't take this serious enough to where we're not committed and we don't stay consistent. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the point where we're so dang overly pressured by our own selves to the point where we stop and we quit and we can't focus and we lose it and we don't continue and it's not for us and all the negativity rolls in and we have to have these high expectations when you just got to keep it simple, have a system and get it done. And if you haven't got that system yet, and you have to, and you need somebody who's a little bit more real with you, who gets you through a program in about 21 days and says, look, there's going to be some ups, some downs, but here's some positive mental attitude. Here's some PMA. And you need all that. We got a program for you. Scan the QR code, hit the links. We got course videos, live exam sessions, all member sessions. We had a great one today. It was all about why do we even quiz? If there's no Q bank out there, like Andy and Brandy said, that doesn't match the exam, then why do we even do it? Well, you know what? That's a great question. We answered it. You can see that replay on Wednesday. We have books available, SIE 663, 2665. We have the Kona community on the Discord, 951-290-3077. Give me a call, give me a text there, scan the QR code, hit the links, join up, join in. It is probably going to be less than a trip to McDonald's to just get into something that'll help you get past many exams. It's a system to stack exams. It's not me selling you on just the SIE. No, I need to get you past multiple exams. It's a system. Like I said, it's a system. It's a system. And we're going to do one part of it tonight for free, which is the keywords. But just like a good chocolatier, we only give you a sample tonight. You got to go ahead and buy the box if you want to get all of it, right?
Chocolatier. Oops.
All right. Tomorrow, here's our schedule. SIE 6, Kona Study Hall, the small group tutoring. Let me clear something up about Study Hall because it came up today. It's literally just you opening up a quiz, study amongst yourselves silently. You have a question, raise your hand. Brandy will help you out. Just like when you're in grade school and you had a question on the old exam or homework or study in the class, right? And you just walked up and you said, "Hey, can you explain this to me real quick, teacher?" Yes, you can. That's what Brandy does in those study halls. And you can just be there. Sometimes some people just need a teacher to take some quizzes with and be able to answer those questions to gain some confidence. That's what we do in that. It's a confidence builder. And I don't mean to say that some people lack confidence, but we do lack confidence sometimes when we're doing something that's more challenging. We just need a little bit of, support. And then we get it. And then we're on our own. And then we're like, okay, that's all I needed. I just needed that. Or maybe I just need some time set aside every day because I do get caught up in moving my neighbor that I never talked to in the last 5 years over the weekend. And it's hard for me to get settled in because I have ADD, ADHD, and ADDs and the other ADD, blah, 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 right? Whatever it is, we have that there available. There you go. So that's the schedule for tomorrow. Look for that email. It has the access and the schedule and everything that we're going to be doing in that. So grab that email in the morning and get into those sessions. All right. If you're not following us on Instagram, I'll tell you what, I wish you would, because when they let me know, they give me a picture. Guess what, Brandy?
What's up?
I add another one to the Kona Hall of Fame because we got a passer. Yes, we do. We got a passer. I'm yelling throughout my house. I don't even care if these kids need to go to sleep. We have a passer. Congratulations to David Coleman on passing the SIE. Our kids don't even
I
complain. They
I
don't. They never complain.
I'm just laughing because we have a guest tonight, and she's probably like, "What the heck is going?"
Yeah, our son's girlfriend's over here. She's like, your parents have a what at night?
And they just yell randomly.
They just randomly say
Yes.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who I am.
Yeah. Congratulations, David.
Congratulations to David Coleman passing the SIE. This gentleman is 70 years young today. He will be 71 soon. And I only say this because there is some of you on here. I'm not going to point any fingers at anyone or
No,
out anybody. So if
no,
it is you that has said it to me, don't go in the chat and say, why did you call me out? No, I didn't say your name, but you're not too old to get the SIE done.
no, you're not.
You're not too old to learn. Some of you all say that and you're only 43. I'm like, bro, you're only 43. Shut up.
Babies.
70 years old, got it done, passed the SIE. And let me tell you about this guy. He is coachable.
Yeah, he is.
He humbled himself. He has a few postgraduate degrees. And I only say this because he was like, I went in this as a blank slate. I was willing to learn
Hmm.
how to do a different type of system,
Hmm.
even though it's been years since I've been into college. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn this system.
Yeah,
And he stuck to it and he did it.
he did.
And it was out of a lot of frustration that he even joined with us because he was pushed into it because he was doing another program and he was barely halfway through it for over 2 months. He
Yeah,
had been
60,
with that
yeah,
person. Like it was
something
over
like
two
that.
months.
Yeah,
No, it was 2 months. And he
yeah,
was like, I'm barely halfway through the Snaplin
it's crazy.
and we're like, just join with us and we'll get you close in the next 3 weeks. And he's like, okay,
Yeah, right. But
yeah,
let's
right.
try this.
It took him a little longer than that. It took him 5 weeks. He could have tested on the fourth week, but
He could have
he was like he wanted to do a little bit more.
confidence boosting.
It took him 5 weeks. Sorry.
Yeah, 5 weeks. That's it. Something that was taking 9 or 10 weeks to get through half of a program. We got it done in 5 weeks.
And he's got this done.
Yeah, in a
Um,
system.
and a system. So he's very excited. He's gonna get that Series 6. He did not tell me how he did actually, but it was a lot. So I left that out. I normally quote how they got passed, but he had a lot to say this
Yeah.
morning, and it was a lot. But mainly most of it, all it is just staying consistent, doing the keywords and the techniques. And he admittedly said on the exam there was about 10 questions he had no idea. He just stuck to what we've been teaching, the keywords, techniques, and he's like, I must have done them right because I got a pass notice. And in the end, as you guys always say, that's all that
That's
matters.
all that matters.
That's all that matters. It's all really honestly all that matters. So, in saying that, tonight, congratulations to David Coleman, but it's not about him, it's about you. Let's get on to the lesson at hand. Tonight is Kona Catchphrase. We are going to be looking at 6 different questions. Brandy is going to have them up on the screen. What we want you to do is look for the keywords in these questions. Brandy's going to make it so simple. We normally ask you guys and we wait around and we just wait for the chat, and we want you to participate. Because if you participate, then you're like in it. Then you're learning. Then you're being humble. You're being vulnerable. You're wanting to learn. Put yourself out there. Put it in there, and we want you to notice things. And look, it's not even security's vocabulary that we want you to notice. Do you see answers that are similar? Do you see answers that are the opposite? Do you see things that relate in ways that are out of securities? They're just common sense. Do you see in the question that it clearly says capital and then one of the answers says capital? Guess what? The keyword was capital in the question. The answer is capital in the answer. All the rest of the words were irrelevant, right?
Hmm.
We're just looking for stuff like that. So let's do it. Let's play the Kona catchphrase. Let's go, Brandy.
All right, guys. I got refuse to open the account. Open the account without further action. Obtain information on the fiduciary for the account. Obtain information, or yeah, obtain information on a trusted contact person. So check it out.
C and D are cousins.
They are similar. We got the fiduciary, we got the trusted contact. Now, fiduciary, for those of you that don't know, somebody that has an ultimate responsibility.
When it comes to money?
Just anything.
Oh, okay.
Just anything. An ultimate responsibility. I think it is money related, but
yeah.
Ultimate
Trusted
responsibility.
contacts like my ride or die from my brother from maybe a fraternity.
It's just trusted contact.
Right.
That's it. So looking at this, whoa, older client, opening an account, registered rep has some concerns about being possibly exploited. We're not going with the fiduciary because not everybody has one, but everybody has a
Not
forensic.
everybody even knows what that means.
That's true. Fiduciaries are like, in case you guys want to know, power of attorneys, trustees, stuff like. Not everybody has that.
Some of you all got the mom, right? You got the mom that handles everything for the family, right? Or you got that aunt that steps in and says, I got grandma. You know
Right.
what I mean? I'm going to handle the contracts or take care of the financials for grandma as she gets older.
Right. That's
That's a
it.
trusted contact.
That's it. All right. Current yield. Yield to maturity, nominal yield, yield to call. I always focus on current, maturity, nominal, call. Those are the words that stand out. In the question, it says person has purchased a callable bond. I think I'm just going to go with the call.
What did I say? Some of y'all were running towards the seesaw. And look, that's a great thing, right?
It is. It is good.
But if you can get easy layups on the exam, because listen, it's a timed exam. If you can connect in a different way and shorten your response time to where you can get this done in like a second or two, what did that take? 2 seconds for Brandy?
Yeah.
There you go. That's an advantage. That's an edge.
And honestly, guys, if I big huge hint, if there was numbers in that question, without a doubt, I'm drawing the seesaw. And then it's like the only time oh my goodness, if it didn't have numbers in it, the seesaw, it would be like, in which order? If this is a discount, which order? Does that make sense? But this was very direct.
Very direct. Very
direct.
Very much a layup.
Boom, boom. Interpositioning, free riding, backing away, churning, right? So interpositioning, like I'm just gonna say like
It's like NASCAR.
I always go like here's this and interpositioning means like something in between. Because
That's why I call it
positioning.
not like NASCAR. You're gonna get in that inner position between the two cars.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Free riding means I'm getting something for free. Backing away means literally reverse. Beep, beep, beep. And then churning is
like butter, just turning
butter.
it over and over.
Yeah, butter.
Do you know what it's like? Their stomachs when they see callable on the screen. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is an options question."
Right. Right. Guys, these are all bad. All of these are bad. Bad, 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 bad. All bad. Right. So we just got to pick the bad that matches. Right. Oh my gosh. Again, with these long questions, it's actually kind of a good thing, guys, because that's how the test is. Long questions.
Like a CVS receipt.
Right. So customer contacts registered rep to buy an OT stock rather than buying shares directly. Ooh, look at right here. Rather than buying shares directly from a market maker, the broker dealer contacts another broker dealer and that firm buys the shares from a market maker. Since there's two levels of transactions, doesn't that sound like the top one?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Another broker dealer. Like what?
Didn't we say that? We interposition, trying to get into that. There's that second position in there, right? In between the two.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Right in between. That's it. Just painting a picture. And that's not, I mean, it is, I guess, securities content, but not really.
Not really. You just got to have that visual outside, and it makes it all very clear.
I just realized that I wrote beep, not back.
Anyways, we all know what that means.
The MFP's office must be located. The candidate must be an immediate. The MFP's firm must endorse the candidate, or the MFP must be entitled to vote.
Now, I know there's a lot of Kona people on here going Mona, but it doesn't work when all of them have a must in it.
They all have must.
So it's probably something that has to do with the legal and the law, and then we have to do something with that.
Right. Right.
So it is a must.
Yeah. And then they all have like candidate or MFP in there, so that doesn't work. It says in order to make a contribution to an individual's political campaign without violating this rule, don't you think you should be entitled to vote? Because why else are you contributing to a campaign if you can't vote for that person?
Right. Why are you doing that? Isn't it kind of suspicious if you contribute and you can't even vote
for that person?
Huh?
Why am I contributing to the campaign of a mayor that I can't vote for?
It's like that's like going into a shop and you just go ahead and buy all the stuff that you know in the store and you're like, well, I don't even need it.
Yeah. So you can't do that. Not when you're this MFP people.
That doesn't sound suspicious.
But Brandy, We don't explain what an MFP is. Doesn't matter.
Did you get it right?
Doesn't matter.
Stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's
Doesn't
why you're
matter.
getting it wrong. You're thinking about the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly. Special assessment bond, double barrel bond, moral obligation bond, revenue bond. Well, there's only one that I've heard of on this list, right? So that's this one, right? Fees, moral obligation. I'm just sure there's some sort of obligation here. Double barreled, I'm looking for two things.
Better than a single.
Right. And special assessment, I'm looking for special. And then like an assessment is like a judgment,
Yes.
I guess, like a special like research assessment. I don't know. But I'm just gonna go special. Right? I'm just gonna go special. And it says, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the yellow. Okay. And it says, hold on, let me get a different color. It says a municipality has issued long-term municipal bonds, which indicates that the state legislator will provide support if the provide support. Well, that doesn't sound like special. That doesn't sound like 2 times. Doesn't sound like fees, but it does sound like there is a moral obligation.
Got to do this thing.
Because and look, I don't really, that, like, we can go into securities content on that, but it's the best choice given no securities content.
The other ones, if you really think about it, don't even fit.
Not really. Not
So
really.
even if you look at it a process of elimination situation, the other 3 don't make any sense at all. Moral obligation's the only one that would.
Sounds like provide support.
Right.
Obligation. I got an obligation to you. I got your moral support.
Morally, I have to do this.
Like, have you guys ever heard of that? Like, I'm here for moral support. That's where I kind of pulled that from in my brain. And I was like, please be right.
Hey, sometimes that's all we need.
Because I literally, that's what I said. I'm like this. I think of a moral obligation, like I'm moral support. And then I was like this. I was like, please be right. And it was.
hey, if you guys look, and this goes for all of these things. If you're going to guess anyway,
just go with that.
This is a great way to get an answer.
Exactly. Limited profit potential, cannot lend money to the partnership, no management responsibility, unlimited liability. Okay, so those are my go-tos.
Limited liability sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. Okay, so what is the characteristic of a limited partner in a limited partnership? So it says, what is the characteristic of a limited partner? So I don't know about you guys, but if I am limited in my partnering, it probably means I'm not a manager.
No. It's probably not unlimited either.
No, unlimited would not be limited. Wait,
no.
Is that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay, I did say it right. Unlimited would not be limited. So therefore, there you go. Make sense?
Yes.
All right.
Because a lot of people put A though. They're like, they have limited profit potential. And I know where you're going with that. Hey, you got limited partnership, you got limited, liability or partners. No, limited partners and limited partnership, you get limited profit. You guys are cool.
Yeah. And you guys got to remember, it's a partnership, right? And so partnerships participate in stuff, right? Because you're a partner, but you're a limited partner in the fact that you just are giving money. You don't really have a say. That's where your limitness comes from. I think I just made up like a bunch of words today.
But you get it.
You got it.
You don't want any of the management. You don't want any of the responsibility. None of that stuff. You just want to put money in, get a little profit at the end.
Have you all heard of silent partners?
There you go.
Where you just are funding a project, you don't want any say in it.
Yeah, and you also don't want to manage either. You're not going to care about Carol and why she needs the day off and why her baby daddy needs to like take her to court. Like, you don't care about any of that.
Right.
You're like, bro, I just gave the money. I just, you manage that.
Right.
I got other things to do.
Right.
Like another limited partnership across the town.
Right.
That's what I do.
You guys are still being limiting on your thinking if you guys were thinking about limited profit potential. Because if you're a partner, there's nothing to limit your profitness when you're a partner. That's why people in lawyer movies fight to be partner.
There you go. Partner.
Nothing securities related.
Partner in crime.
There you go. Partner in crimes, man.
There's always the one guy that manages everything. Everybody else is doing the breaking in the vault.
Did we not see Ocean's 11?
Some dude's like driving the getaway car. They're not all masterminds.
Oh my gosh. Ocean's 11. George Clooney would be the general partner and everybody else is the limited partner.
Everybody's gonna run out and go see this
DPPs.
movie.
DPPs, next lesson, Ocean's 11.
All right, because that's how we do here. All right, thank you so much for being on tonight. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you go and get inspired to go pop a quiz. Look, learn some of this stuff. Learn how to do the keywords. Learn how to do the techniques. Start adding it to your arsenal. And like I said, let's say you just like, you know what, I don't know about this Kona. It drives me insane. Like they go is looking at the answers first. They're talking about Ocean's 11. I like my studying boring, dry, and to the point. I like to hit myself in the head with that 489-page book every time I read it because I study in bed. If that's you, that's fine.
No, stick with us. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, no. No, that's fine. But if you need to guess on a couple of these questions and you add these to your arsenal, guess what? And you get it right, you win.
Win.
Win's a win.
Bonus.
Bonus. No one says 99 point, everything's nothing's like 100%. Not even Lysol. It's 99.9% right or works or whatever it is,
Because
right?
even always is usually not true.
It's not true. Look at them divorce rates. And I'm just kidding. All right, everybody. On that happy note, we got the SIE tomorrow, the 6th, and we got Kona Study Hall and the small group tutor. Some of the things I say.
Wait. I'm laughing at Michelle too.
Test taking techniques Tuesday, tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, everybody stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your friend's face. That's all I know. And keep the positive mental attitude. PM, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you guys so much for being on. We super appreciate you. Practice the Kona catchphrases in your quizzes. We will see you guys tomorrow night. Have a great one.